Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for this day.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
Hello, and welcome to the Artist Pivot Podcast. This is your host, Ayana Major Bay, and before I introduce this week's guest, I have an ask of you. I am an indie podcaster and would love your support in helping to keep this podcast going, whether it's by buying merch, joining the Patreon page, subscribing to the monthly newsletter, or making a donation on Buy Me a Coffee. I mean, you could do all 4 of those things, but one would be appreciated. Every little bit helps. And if you love this podcast like I do and want to see it continue, I hope you will take action. All the links for these things are in the show notes, and you can also find them on my website at ayanabay.com/podcast. Even spreading the word to your family and friends about the show and subscribing to whatever podcast player you are listening to right now also goes a long way. Thank you so much for supporting and listening. Now, on today's episode, I am joined by the dynamic, multidisciplinary artist, Stephanie Graham. She wears many creative hats, including being an art director, owner and creator of Graham Cracker Pin Company, and a podcaster. Shout out to her podcast, Nosy AF. Stephanie's journey has been nothing short of a series of creative pivots, and together we dive into what it means to keep moving through career changes, industry strikes, and personal evolution while navigating the ever-shifting landscape of the creative world. We chat honestly about the reality of sustaining an artistic career, balancing bills, burnout, multiple streams of income, and the pressures and joys of now being self-declared bare minimum baddies. This episode is filled with practical wisdom on building community, nurturing meaningful relationships, networking, or as Stephanie likes to say, kicking it, and honoring your creative practice, even when the world feels overwhelming. Whether you're an artist in transition or just looking for inspiration to keep creating amidst the chaos, this conversation is your reminder that it's okay to rest, to set boundaries, and to play, sometimes just for yourself. If you're feeling the weight of the world right now, tune in and get ready to laugh, reflect, and be encouraged to support your art, your community, and yourself. Hashtag bare minimum baddie style. All right. Let's get into this episode.
Hey, everybody, I'm Stephanie Graham, and I am on the Artist Pivot Podcast.
Come take a listen and let your inner artist play. Creating your dreams step by step every day. If you're feeling lost and don't know what to do, always remember that you can pivot to the Artist Pivot. The Artist Pivot. We Audition is the video chat community where actors can audition, self-tape, rehearse, and get expert industry advice. Get instant self-tape readers through video chat, browse through the dedicated actor meditations, podcasts, and books, meet casting directors in the virtual green room, and also make money by becoming a reader for other actors. If you join We Audition and use code PIVOT, you will receive a 25% discount on your membership. Yes, that's right. We Audition and the Artist Pivot have partnered to bring you this discount. From my own experience, I love being a reader for other actors, and We Audition is so convenient for me when I need a reader myself. Again, if you join We Audition and use the code PIVOT, you will receive 25% off your membership. Link in the show notes. All right, y'all. So today joining me is Miss Stephanie Graham, who happens to be a multidisciplinary artist. including art director, just being in the creative world, right? And owning a pin company, Graham Cracker Pin Co., and just an all around amazing creative and human being. So, Stephanie, welcome to the show.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So I want to start with my first two questions. Number one, how are your hydration levels? Like, have you had enough water today? And question number two, if I were to text you right now and say, Stephanie, how you doing? How you feeling? But you could only respond in emojis only, what would you text me?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So my hydration levels could be better, but they are good. Like, I feel proud of the one water bottle I drank today, and I have one with me today.
Mm-hmm.
And then the emoji would definitely be that emoji that's smiling while melting.
Yeah.
That is who I would be. That is who I would be, because I feel like it's like, I'm
Yeah.
trying.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying.
You're doing, right?
Yeah,
You're
that's
doing,
true.
but also being. So, first of all, thank you for that text and your hydration
Yes.
levels.
Yes.
But also like you say trying, but you're doing, right? And also being. Like I did a
Yeah.
meditation this morning that was like, remember, we're not human beings. We're not human doings, excuse me. We're not human doings. We're human beings, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so it's like, yeah, you're doing the best you can and you should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, you are absolutely right. And thank you for reframing that, because I really am doing the best I can. I really am. Yeah.
Yeah. I understand. And the world is a dumpster fire as we speak.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
You know what? I'm all right. I've had have I had the full water bottle today? Maybe not. So I might have had about 25 ounces today, which is pretty good.
That's pretty good.
I try to drink. I usually get to about 50, 55 a day because I have a water bottle that I try to do 2 of. So I'm almost halfway there. But I'm all right? Like if I were to respond in emojis, I'd probably send you the sun because it's actually really nice today. I stepped outside. It's almost like 60, 65 degrees here in Jersey. And so I really appreciated that. And then what would I send you? I would probably send you the smiley face with like the sweat bead.
Oh,
right? Like,
yeah.
Just like, oh, like I'm here, but oh my gosh, like, are we done yet? Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm stressed. And probably like the eye. Unfortunately, my eye has been twitching these last, like I say, like the last couple days.
Oh no.
I think it might be stress.
Yeah.
Right? And my accountability partner was like, you need to meditate. You need to pray. I'm like, girl, I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Was your eye twitching while you were meditating also?
No.
Oh, okay.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No. So I'd probably send you that. And then I would also, on the flip side, send you a bee because I've been listening to Beyonce today. I put on a Beyonce mix because I was like, you need to dance. So I was in the shower, in the bathroom, just to working my little butt away.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
I was like, even with all of that, I'm finna dance.
I heard that. Beyonce style too in the bathroom. You go.
Okay.
You go. Okay.
So I'm good, right? Like I am alive and well, safe and have what I need, and like holding on. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Holding on.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. You know, I was there was last week maybe there were a couple of state of our unions that people are listening to. Like I believe Roland Martin had one, and then what's her name? Angela Rye had one, I feel. But, you know, one of the things Roland Martin was like, you know, sisters, you know, they said they are resting and they're 92%. They're not doing anything. You know, what do you say to that? And then the person's like, yeah, but Yeah, but we gotta have to start paying attention. I'm just like, why? I didn't want you to say that because so much of this, I was like, I've tried so hard to not to do my part to have the outcome of this country go a different way. So like, that's how y'all want it? Fine,
Right.
deal with
Fine.
it. But now it's just like closing on in where you're like, it's like, you know what? Let me get up. Let me get up. I don't want to. It's slow. It's a slow get up. But it's just like, oh, wow, you really can't check out of this because this is a mess.
It's that part, right? But here's my thing though. I think we can check out in a way. Like I've been seeing other artists on Instagram being like, this is your time to create. This is your time to be in community. So I think we can check out from helping the broader, like, like broader society. And we check into helping Black people. We check into helping Black women. We check into helping artists. That's our community, right? That's who we check in and get up for. I'm not getting up for the rest of y'all. I'm sorry, but I'm going to be selfish. I'm not getting up for y'all. I'm getting up for my community. I'm getting up for the people who represent me. I'm getting up for the 92% of Black women who stood 10 toes down and was like, we need a different direction. Yes. That's who I'm getting up for, right? But also I'm doing the bare minimum. I heard on a podcast that I actually listened to that she was like, I'm going to be a bare minimum baddie. Like, ooh. I'm in my bare minimum baddie phase.
I love it.
Yes.
I love it.
And I was like, sis, I'm gonna write that down. Yeah, I'm in my bare minimum baddie stage.
Absolutely. I'm down. Sign me up. I'm definitely down for the bare minimum baddie.
Yep.
There was like a group text. People like, y'all going down to the march? And I'm like, no.
I'm
not going to no march. I'm not.
No.
I'm not going to the women's march. I'm chilling. Okay?
No. What I'm going to do is go support Black businesses. When I need a product, I'm going to go, how do I find a Black business that sells this product that I need?
Yep.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go find, they just released the Black Farmers Index. And it's listing all of the farmers in like, they do it in regions of the US, right? And so they literally list all, you could click on your state and list all of the Black farmers and where you can go buy stuff from them. That's what I'm getting it for. I'm going to go shop at Black farmers to get my groceries or whatever I can get from them, right? Or if I need something, great. I'm going to find a Black owned brand that I can buy from.
Yep.
That's what I'm going to get up for.
Period.
That's
it. That's all.
Right.
Because we are some bare minimum baddies up in here.
Bare minimum baddies. Like, it was off the show Getting Grown.
Okay, yes. Cool.
Bare minimum baddies, honey. That's what we are, Stephanie. Bare minimum baddies.
And I'm not mad at it. You know? I mean, listen, I just keep my little posts in my ears. I'm not even changing earrings out. I'm just like, keep my little posts and just keep it moving. I don't even want to switch out to hoops. You're going to take these posts.
But sis, hoops are like a superpower. Like when I get like dolled up and put on a pair of hoops, you can't tell me nothing. It's like superpower activation with the pair of hoops.
It's true. But I have my little blings in, So that's why I'm like,
Yeah.
But hoops, you're right. Hoops do a thing. But I feel like that's just how like resting I am. Like I don't even want to change out. Like I'll take these out, take a little clean around.
Right.
And we popping them right back in. We're not even searching through the jewelry box.
Bare minimum baddie. You still look good baddie with the earrings on, but you're not changing them out. Bare minimum.
Exactly.
Oh my goodness. I love it.
Me too.
Oh, yes. So with that, with all of also the creative things that you have going on. So y'all, like I said, she has, pivoted her way through this artistic field and, has her own podcast called Nosy AF. And, like I said before, is the creator of the Graham Cracker Pin Co. and art director and all artist and all of the things. And so, Stephanie, you could take us as far back as you want to, or we could just stay in your current pivot. But what has been, some of the catalyst in your life and in career that you've had to pivot through, right? And are you still, which I think the answer is yes, talking to you off of the recording, that still using those lessons that you've learned when you've had to pivot before?
Yes, and I am still pivoting. It just feels like just twirling down the street. I think what are the lessons I've learned, you say?
Some of the pivots you've taken, right? And then
Yeah.
lessons you've learned.
So some of the pivots that I've taken, this is like, say, 2007. Okay. I was working in film and then there was a writer's strike. And at the time, I have always tried to, like, even in high school, like, be involved in, like, yearbook club, photo club, dance club, like, just always be in the mix of some sort of trade organization, some type of community group, anything where you're just meeting people all the time. And so when the first strike happened, I was with the American Society of Media Photographers, which is a trade organization for a lot of folks did like editorial, like newspaper, magazine, like local story kind of work. And so I was on the board of the Chicago Midwest organization. And when the writer strike happened, I was like, hey, y'all, we aren't working. If anybody needs help with anything, I'm around because I have nothing going on outside of my own like photography and stuff like that. But that would just take a small portion of the day. And a friend, Dirk, was there and he said, oh, actually, my college needs a photo advisor. Why don't you come and do that? And I'm like, okay, because at the time it sort of worked. I've never done that before, but I knew all the photographers in Chicago. I had like a post on, like, I knew all the assistants and everything and knew what that was like to get into photography. It was similar to networking to get onto film sets. So I interviewed for that and I started working as an advisor, counseling students about finding work. And that was really wild because some of the students were like my age, some of them were older and then younger. And it really like opened up my eyes to how much people go through to get an education. You'd have students that were biking to school, that had to like take a step back maybe because they couldn't afford it or, just traveling long distances, like to come to school like twice a week or something like that. And I'm just like, wow, versus me when I was just like straight from high school to college. If somebody even considered switching, I'd be like, what are you talking about? We're in college. You don't leave college,
Right.
People be dropping out. I'd be like, I don't know what that was about. And like keep going to my next class. But then when you see students paired with financial aid, and then they're studying photography, they choose like art careers, which I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just like so tough considering I was here because my current industry was on strike. The writers were on strike. And, as I know, as an actress, it all like weaves in together, like theater, film, all the jobs, everybody needs each other.
Yep.
So that was new, but I learned about having a 401k.
Yeah. All right.
And like a flexible spending card. I was going to Pilates with that card. Okay.
Oh, come on. Okay.
Every day.
Oh, and I'm here for that.
Oh, me too. Let me tell you, I was tight at that point. Okay.
Hey.
In their years. And, and so then they had layoffs and I got laid off.
Okay.
And then I had to go back to film. And what film taught me is like, oh, this will always be around. Forgive me. You could just walk back to the corner and get back on a job. It's just like, this one's over, go right on back. And so then I started working back in film. And so then I was working in film and then I was able to pivot from film into the film industry into the television industry.
Okay.
Because the movie I was working on, Jupiter Ascending, the set decorator on there, the local set decorator, because that film was like shooting all over the country, in different countries. she booked Chicago PD and took me with her.
Yes.
So I thought, oh, that was going to be like a season. You know, I was like, oh, good. 10 more months of work. You know, great.
Right.
Because everything I was doing in film was freelance. You know, working at Harrington College, that was like my first like full job.
Yes. So could I ask you what you were doing on these like film sets and in Chicago PD? Yeah.
Yeah. So I was working as a art department coordinator and a set deck coordinator. So usually like those jobs are in charge of the budgets. They are in charge of research. So, you know, if somebody says, hey, let's make a bedroom for a little girl in the 1950s. She just lives with her grandparents. You know, her mom just left her there and she lives with her grandparents. Her grandparents have a ton of money. And what would her room look like? You know, so like, so through like the set decorator and the production designer, they all figure this kind of stuff out and then it trickles down. And then, you know, me along with the team of like buyers, help like source the stuff. And the set decorator, obviously, source this stuff, figure out if there needs to be things in production and where we can source these things. And then how much is it going to cost? And like literally watching the spending, like looking at receipts of how much it's costing.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So that was my job for all of the set decorating, or sorry, all of my film jobs. I was doing that before I got called into Harrington. And then when Harrington ended, I went back to doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then it was another pivot to go work for Chicago PD. But I think a lot of this stuff, you know, I think back like really goes into kicking it and networking. You know, being out and about, being a part of organizations, and being a pleasant person to be around.
Ooh, yes.
Because I feel, you know, and obviously my boss from PD, Trisha Schneider, who's the decorator, would probably speak more to that, you know, like why she allowed me to come with her. You know, maybe it was like, oh, she's great, but also instead of having to hire somebody new, just pull me on.
Yeah. It's a both and. It probably was both of those things. Oh, I like her, and why would I hire somebody else? Come with me.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was really cool. You know, that was such a blessing. But, you know, and there's actually this book. There's a woman, her name is Allison Stanfield, and she wrote a book, I'd Rather Be in the Studio, for like a business book for artists, for visual artists.
Okay.
And in there, she said like, oh, hey, this is like a thing to be a successful artist. Join trade organizations, you know? So that was how I really ended up in American Society of Media Photographers, because I was like, oh, that's a good idea. Right. Let me look for some trade organizations in my city. And I just tried to join as much as I could, email lists, going out, socializing, being in the mix, you know? So that really, so doing that was really helpful.
Yeah.
But then I was staying at Chicago PD for so long, for 10 seasons. Wow. I was like, you know, I really want to do like more art direction, more maybe production. I just knew that like coordinating, as much as I enjoyed it and was doing it for so long, I was just ready to do something else. Yeah. I thought as an artist with my own practice, it was a great job because I could be in a supportive role while still getting paid.
That, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed it for that. But then the role, it just sort of has a cap, you know, like where it's like, it just makes so much, you know, at the time. Union wise, it was a flat rate. So it wasn't anything that was like on a card. Everybody that was a coordinator was like all over the place, you know, with where people were being paid. Some coordinators being paid really well. Thankfully, I was one of the coordinators being paid really well. There were others that were not, but it always could have been better, you know, especially compared to other jobs on set now. I'm like, come on now, you know.
All this work I'm doing.
Right. Right. And so that's when I was like, you know, and this is a journey I'm still on. Like, let me see what else I could do. And so I started to pursue other opportunities.
Yeah.
And I got on like another like independent film as an art
Mhm.
director, which was just like another step up into my career. Enjoyed that a lot.
Mhm.
And then thought, okay, maybe I could start doing this.
Mhm.
But then, and I did do that on another TV show, Somebody Somewhere. I was the assistant art director.
Mhm.
And then the, now there's just like work has come to a halt,
Mhm.
and in this, I didn't go back. I should have said like during my time at PD, then COVID happened,
Mhm.
the shelter in place, then the writer strikes, then potential crew strikes. Now the film world is like going overseas.
Mhm.
We're hoping that more of it will come back. But yeah, so now it's just sort of like, okay, here comes another, up on the balls of your feet.
Right.
we about to pivot again.
Right. We about to pivot again.
Yeah. Because guess what's
Yeah.
not pivoting? Them
What?
bills.
Girl.
Them bills are not pivoting, honey. They got a straight path.
Listen, okay? Because they're not pivoting at all.
No, they're not.
The bills are not pivoting at all. It's like, but wait, I got to pivot. Can you pivot too? Can you just like hold on?
Yeah.
For 1 second.
I know. It's like, hey, electric bill, I'm working on a pivot. And they say, and
that ain't our problem.
Or run my money.
Right. Run me my money. They're like, what?
You want these lights on for your pivot? Run it.
That part. Do you want these lights on so you can make your pivot?
Right.
Because you can make your pivot in the dark. We could make that happen for you. But it'd probably be easier if the lights were on.
Right. Because they're like, listen, you got to make money.
Mm-hmm.
You got to spend money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So give us our bills.
Yes.
Give us our payment.
Give us our payment.
So it's tough.
Yes, it's tough. And it's real, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that just as, well, human beings, first of all, right? But then as humans who choose to make art and use that as trying to make a living, right? Like,
yeah,
it just gets so, it's just very fickle, right? Like the entertainment industry in general is fickle. And the fact that our society requires what I call money is green coupons. Like they're green coupons, right? Like we tear down trees to make paper that we color green. Right? Like they're green coupons, right? Like trying to, and this is me personally, trying to remove my attachment to it, right? And to understand, okay, this is the system I was born into. So yes, I need these green coupons, but I'm also like breathing for free, right? Like God gave me this breath in my lungs and like all the functions of my body, my incredible body. Thank God I don't have to pay for it, right? Like I don't need green coupons to be alive.
Yeah.
Right? But we need it for simple things that everybody should have in the world, but that's a whole nother conversation. Yep. But we need it for things like housing and food and water.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? But also, I'm trying to make art. Like, what?
Yeah. And, I think, too, I don't like that I think this way, but I do think, like, when the recent writer strike happened, writers and actors strike, I was like, as a crew member, I'm like, oh, this will never happen again, where I'm just, like, out of work. And we all know we need to have our multiple streams of income, right? But, like, film was my main stream of income. And I found myself, and still sometimes think like, oh, I should have like been a nurse and then I could have done my art on the side, because I do see actually an artist that comes to mind who is a nurse. And she, she's been doing it for a long time, and she will put that time in and go off and do a residency and then come right back to a hospital. Like even even like say in North Carolina where she's here from Chicago, you know, she could travel.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's actually a really nice setup, you know? But I think when I think that, am I thinking that art isn't like good enough, you know, like it needs to be played to the side?
Yeah.
And that's not fair either,
No.
you know, and that's not right. And while I am off, I think, oh, you know what your job is, Stephanie? It's your podcast. It's, you know, the pins doing more of this, but that takes even more time, you know? It's just like, and while you are sitting with like maybe your main source of income gone, it's just like, you know, you just have to get like while you're watching the trades, I'm watching this country, and it's just draining, you know, to like even put more energy into marketing the pins, you know, like marketing the art, still trying to make art, still trying to do the work. It's just a lot.
Yeah. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. And I think from hearing you, what I gather from hearing you say was thinking, right, like, oh, I should have gone into nursing and do art on the side. I honestly think because you're looking at it from a money perspective, right?
Yes.
Right? And so, unfortunately, from this conversation, and I know that other artists are listening too, it's like, because our society doesn't value art monetarily, we then are like, well, this doesn't have value. And it's like, no, it actually has the most value.
And we know it does. And we know it does too. Yeah. Yeah. I know it does.
Right.
It's just like, dang.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think really the heartbreak comes from that some of the studios, you know, or others don't value it either. Like we know it's valuable, but others don't, and they have such a key. It's like one of those things like, you know, you just wait till I become a billionaire. But it's like, not everybody. Wait, you don't want to be a billionaire. You know, it's like, but you just wait, you know?
Right.
Right. And I know it's valuable, so I don't ever want to like make it seem like it's not. I know it is, but it's just like, dang, you know, because you want to be able to sustain yourself and sustain others and like keep the circle going, you know?
Keep
the circle going.
Yes, I do know. It's about sustainability, right?
Yeah.
And I actually texted a friend a couple days ago and, you know, talking about all of the things that I'm doing. And I was like, honestly, I'm just like, how do I continue to sustain myself, right? Like I do have all of these pots on the stove and I want all of them to support me eventually, right? But sometimes this little fire will bubble up or this and that. And I'm like, how do I get them all to continue to sustain me, right? And sustainability. And like, then I was like, oh, I wish I had learned this almost 17 years ago, right? Like I've been in the business 17 years. I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me this 17 years ago, right? And she was like, well, she's like, you learn things when you're supposed to learn them, right? And maybe that version of you couldn't have handled it, right?
Yeah.
That version of you wouldn't be able to balance all of these things and then going, hey, Anna, you have to be sustainable for yourself and also help sustain others, right?
Yeah.
Like I would love to become a producer and help other artists produce theater or cabarets or film, like whatever.
Oh my God.
Whatever right? Like, but I'm like, okay, you have to sustain yourself first, right?
Yeah.
But I'd just be like, oh, why didn't anybody tell me this sooner? And she's like, you didn't, like, I know we always say shoulda, coulda, woulda, or like hindsight's 2020, but she's like, you're learning it when you're supposed to learn it, right? And I think that's also hard. Of like, would it have been easier if I knew this 20 years? But also I may not have had the life that I've had that led me to this point if I had knew this sooner.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Because you might have been like, oh, you know what? I'm straight. I'm good on this, actually.
Bingo.
You know?
Bingo.
You know, off to law school, off to accounting school, you know.
Exactly.
Off to shift supervisor, you know. You don't know.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Because I wouldn't have been in, as we say, in the trenches, right? Of like non-union musical theater for 8 years, then finally getting my equity card, then getting an agent, and then, I went to grad school overseas, worked on 2 cruise ships, right? Like always trying to, okay, this is what's next, right? And so you're right. Like, I would have been like, nah, I'm just going to go to law school and I'll do theater on the side, community theater. I wouldn't be here right now, right?
Yeah,
like, having done so much musical theater that I'm, you know me, I'm a musical theater kid. And like,
yes.
But doing voiceovers, right? And now I have a podcast, and now I run a career guidance program for artists, right? Like,
come on, Empire.
I would, right? Thank you. I wouldn't have all of the information I have right now if I had kind of thought about what I'm trying to do almost 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a talent to do all those things. You know, I was talking to my friend Cliff, you know, the other night about all the stuff that we're doing on top of, you know, he's currently on a TV show. He's still on Chicago PD. We work together, you know, while he's still, you know, working on his own, you know, art projects while still working, you know, while still having this, while still having that. Like, it's like, then, you know, your project management skill is just off the chain.
Okay.
You know? And people are amazed by it, you know, because you'll see folks that maybe they are just in theater, you know, maybe they are just in film. And that's just like the one thing that they do. They don't have the energy maybe or interest to really pursue other things, you know, but you're like helping others. You have your own theater career, you know, you have the podcast. Like, these are just one thing is enough. You know, but adding on is just like, it's always really something to see. And so, you know, I think that's what's really cool about the Artist Pivot is that you get to see other folks who are, like you said, in the trenches, just like you, that are, you know, doing all these really wonderful things and then also doing another wonderful thing and then also doing another, you know, like people are doing all these really wonderful things. And then, you know, that's why like this project is so important that you have, because you just really get encouraged by that because you might be, you know, maybe a listener might be the only person in their community that's doing that or has the desire to do that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And I also agree with you, right? Like, having community and seeing other people who move like you through the world, like as an artist, and want to create and know the value of it because you're around other artists who are creating things. And so it's like, oh, I see the value in their work, but also in mine, right? And to like really understand that, because I'm the only one in my family who's an artist, right? If you put it that way. Like, my family members have talents, right? Like, they can sing, some of them play instruments, like they have talents, but nobody did an artistic career. They all did. I'm going to put it in quotation marks, safe careers.
Yeah.
Nothing is safe. Nothing is safe. Nothing is stable.
Yeah.
In my opinion, the only thing that's stable is God. But nothing is safe and nothing is stable. But in quotation marks, for those who aren't watching, air quotes, they chose stable careers. And so I'm the only one who was an artist. And it was pivotal, actually, for me to have my community, to see other people who think like me, right? Who use the creative side of their brain first. Not saying I don't use the other side, right? But like,
of course, yeah.
To get to be around people you don't have to explain yourself to. That, right? Like, to me, and that's also this podcast. Honey, you don't have to explain yourself to us. We know.
Yeah.
We know.
And they don't say, another thing. Heck, another thing. You need to slow down. All that it's like, oh, hush, hater, hush.
Right. Be quiet.
Yeah. Nobody asked you also. Nobody asked you.
That part. Nobody
Did I
asked
ask you, do you think that this is too much? No, I did not. I definitely did not.
You know what this also is, Stephanie? Taking up space season. Like we're in our bare minimum baddie, but also I'm taking up even more space.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, we're definitely stretched out. We're going to definitely be stretched out in our bare minimum.
Yes. Because like, what? Nobody asked you, are you going to help me with this project? Then I don't need your opinion.
Listen. Okay. Are you cutting a check? Is anybody saying, hey, I really love the cabaret. Like, you want to do another one? How much was that, by the way? I got you.
Right. Because then I'd be like, yeah, let's try to get this whole band back together, or new band members. Let's put up this cabaret again. Sure. But if you're not, don't give me your opinion.
Yeah. Right.
I don't need your opinion.
Yeah.
I don't, what?
Yeah.
Mm.
That's what I
Mm.
think is the biggest thing too, is like really just watching who you're paying attention to, or not
Yeah.
paying attention to, but like if you are getting advice, paying attention to who you're asking and who
Yeah.
you're getting that info from. Like, is this person also, like, what are they doing? You know, will they understand?
Mm-hmm.
You know? Yeah, because I
Mm-hmm.
was talking to another podcast friend like that who, you know, they have this daily show that they're very excited about. They're doing this, they're doing that. They're having like giveaways and all that stuff. And they had another friend come in and say, man, you doing all these giveaways, you showing up every day on your podcast. That's too much.
What?
And it's like, I was like, do not ever ask that person their opinion again.
Thank you.
Because I think that this is great. I can't do a daily podcast, but the fact that you're showing up every day
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing it and you got people, you giving away like gift cards and stuff, this is fun.
Yes.
And those people are showing up and they're enjoying themselves. And most importantly, the podcast there, he's enjoying himself. So I'm like, don't ask them for any more advice. And everybody was laughing because I was just so blind. I was like, don't even listen to them.
Right.
You know, versus like asking us, like, what do you guys think? Like, because he was trying to figure out more he could do.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, oh, have you thought instead of a gift card to say like, hey, what's your favorite restaurant? Or, you know,
Mm-hmm.
just giving ideas. And it's like, don't ever ask somebody like that again. As soon as if they like because they'll make you question, like he was ready to just sort of shut it all down.
Oh, no.
It's like, oh, absolutely not.
No. No. Mm-mm. No, because we're also asking people who wouldn't put in that type of work for themselves.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. You're willing to do it and you're having fun doing it, so do it. Don't ask somebody who's clearly shown you that they wouldn't even put in that amount of work, right? And so like ask the podcasters, ask the people. What is that saying? Don't take criticism from people you wouldn't take advice from.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines.
That's really good. Yeah,
something
that's really
along
good.
those lines, right?
Yeah,
like,
that's really good.
I wouldn't take criticism from you, so why am I taking advice from you? Right? Like, no, you've never been in my shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And like, again, with that answer, you've shown me that you wouldn't even put in the work at all.
Yeah.
For whatever project, you clearly think this is too much, quote unquote. No, it's not too much if you want to do it, if you want to put the work in.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Mm-mm. I'm glad he listened to you and not them.
Yeah, I'm glad he like it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I will keep going for a little bit and see what I think. And it's like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know? So that is like a big thing. As like I'm twirling down the street here, trying to figure out where I'll land. It's just like paying attention to, you know, who I bring in, you know, during this, you know, during a transition or during a hold, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I also think like you did something that I kept, like I wanted to come back to it, was you joining trade organizations earlier in your career. And I think that is something that's like brilliant, right? To network and get to know people. And I don't even like using the word network because it's
me either.
Just connecting with people, right? And like finding, oh, I think I could work with that person. Or, oh, that's just someone I want to have in my corner. Maybe I can call them when I need just advice about this thing. Like, have you ever worked on this set with this director? Can you give me advice with how to handle them? Right? Like, you don't even necessarily need them for a job. But I think that's so crucial because in mentoring like the younger generation now, it's challenging, right? Because they have social media, right? Like, we're both millennials. We're both like, see, we had the best of times because we grew up when we were outside when the street lights came on. You had to come back into the house.
Yeah.
But we didn't get to social media till about college, right?
Yeah.
Because Facebook happened when I think my first year of college or something like that. Second year of college, one of those. And it's like the younger generation, I'm like, you all need to meet people.
Absolutely.
And like, don't be afraid of meeting people. Stop using the word networking and just be like, just meet other humans who happen to do art.
Yeah. I always say, I just call it kick it or party, you know, honestly. Because it's like, art exhibitions, their mini parties,
Mm-hmm.
go out there and see, make yourself seen, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that you have to be like on like a short dress about it and,
Right.
finally pull out the hoops, like fine, but like, but just like show
Yeah.
up, and
Yeah.
even like the people you talk to on social media, like see if they want to jump on Zoom,
Yeah.
or FaceTime just for a little bit, like just to take it offline,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, even if it's still virtual, like take it offline. The trade organizations still are still around. That's like that was such a good thing, because now I always try to find like a place to huddle,
Yeah.
like you and I, like we find each other through like other podcasters, because all of my
Mm-hmm.
homies are not podcasters.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're thinking about it, like I will nerd out about this stuff,
Yeah.
even like art, you know, I will nerd out about the exhibitions or the museum shows and all this stuff. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I have friends that'll go,
Mm-hmm.
but they'll go and like go, but like I really will go, like stay there all day. I want to
Yes.
go and come back. So that's like a certain group of friends that will go and be down to do that with me.
Yeah.
I have friends that'll hit me up and they say, I'm only calling you because you're like the only person I could talk art with. It's like, yeah, like this is our sport, just like how you
Mm-hmm.
have your homies for maybe basketball, or, like
Yes.
you have your theater friends. Like you can maybe tell me about some of your favorite shows, but like, or plays I should go see, but you bet have your homies that you could definitely get down in the trenches about theater with.
Absolutely. I start singing a lyric and they finish it. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Yes, versus like if you would have sung it around me, I'd be like, "Oh, did you write that or something?" You're like, "No, this is like Mary Poppins." Or like I don't even.
Yes.
It's like, see, I don't even know what to say. But it's like, yeah, like getting in the like finding your crew who you could really be in the trenches with.
Yes.
That is like king.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I think that's how we survive this, right? I think that's how we've
Yes.
survived to this point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
during when we were all trying to get, Kamala in office, like we like all rallied around each other. Like, no, we are going to talk about this ad
Yeah.
nauseum.
Yeah.
You cannot do that with everybody. And you have to allow people their space with the ones who you can really nerd out with.
Mm-hmm.
So like if it's somebody listening and they like always see somebody show up in their comments, or if you guys are always commenting on somebody on Instagram's comments all the time, hit them up and see if they just want to like chop it up for like 15 minutes and just get off. And if you don't like
Right.
them, just hang up.
Right. That part. It's that,
Just
right?
hang up on them. Yeah.
Right. Just be like, thank you so much, right?
Yeah.
But you can also tell, right? Like I think if you really tap into yourself just as a person, you'll know who you vibe with and who you don't vibe with. And I think also not taking it personally, right? Like you don't have to have some type of connection with someone you meet. With every person you meet, there doesn't have to be. It just could be oh yeah, I talked to them at a cocktail party. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. And if you see him again, be like, oh yeah, we met at that cocktail party, right? It's so good to see you, and keep it walking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Just
Yeah.
being like a decent, kind human being, right? Like, because that also has seemed to have just gone away in the ether.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. And then the people you have connections with nurture it, right? Like, I think there's also that. Like, we nurture our art. We also have to nurture the community that surrounds us, that's going to support us, that's going to be there for us. And like you said, knowing where everybody fits in your life, right? Like my musical theater people, my theater people, I could call them, hey, I got tickets to the show. You ready? Let's go. Right?
Yeah.
But with you, Stephanie, it'd be podcasting. It'd be like, okay, how do we continue to grow our shows? Someone else would be like, I have some travel girlies. I love them. All I do is talk travel with them. Where are we going? What are we doing? Because we're the ones who actually make it out the group chat, right? Like I have certain friends I travel with who make it out the group chat. But I have all those different circles of people in my life. And I do my best to be like, I need to nurture these relationships, right? Because that's what also makes me a whole person, and what I infuse into my art and my life.
Yeah. 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 And there was something else I was going to say with that. Oh, with the nurturing. Another thing that I would do, and I don't do it as much anymore, but I used to do it in the beginning. Like I would, and maybe because when I first started in film, I was a PA,
Mm-hmm.
but like I would always like write down everybody's coffee order like in my phone,
Mm.
like with their name, like, oh yeah, they love like a caramel macchiato, like large, no whip,
Yeah.
because then at
Yeah.
first if they sent me, I already knew, but they would be like, oh, you already know, and it's like caramel macchiato, right? Like that kind of stuff is just smooth, putting you on
Mm-hmm.
game stuff. They just
Mm-hmm.
like, dag, okay. And it's like, even if you just like make sure you like save people's birthdays in your phone,
Yeah.
like and can give folks a call, like those are just small, simple things that go a long way, even if it's just a text. So if you're like, listening, you like, I'm not calling anybody, just sending a text,
Yeah.
you know,
Yes.
or like remembering like little things about them. And you can use your phone for that, like
Yes.
I've totally done the like friends with kids, remembering their kids' names. That kind of stuff goes a long way.
It does.
It does for me.
It does.
If people remember, yeah.
Yeah. It
It's
Stephanie, it
thoughtful.
does. It goes a
Yeah.
long way.
Yeah.
Just again because we're human beings, right? And we
Mm-hmm.
like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you paid attention. So
Yeah.
then it's like, oh, you know what? I let me call Stephanie for this job, right? And
Yeah.
it could be 10 years since we worked together, but you remembered my birthday. You
Yeah.
remembered this thing about me, or you remembered, hey, I had passed this beautiful thing of flowers today, and I thought about you because I know you love flowers so much. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? Like and I do my best now to text people when they come across my mind. Like if I thought
Yeah.
about something, but oh, I wonder how that person's doing. And I'll literally just text them and be like, hey, I know this is out of the blue, but you came across my mind today, so I wanted to say hello.
Yeah.
Right? Like things like that. Or like you said, using your phone. You think I remember everybody's birthday? Oh, honey, my Google Calendar is my
Absolutely.
friend. It's in the calendar. Write the person's names out. Oh, yes. You remembered. Sure did. Thanks to Google notifications.
Right. Right. And that's not nothing wrong with that,
No.
just like, yeah, it's a really, really thoughtful thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like doing things like that really, really help,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. They do. They do. They go a long way because, again,
Yeah.
those are the relationships that you're nurturing that you hope, right, will get you either a job or a referral or
Mm-hmm.
maybe even another friend, right? Like
Yeah.
I've met friends through friends, right? And
Yes.
so I wasn't with you because I could get something from you. I'm friends with you because I want to be friends with you. And oh, I happen to get a job or I happen to get a referral or I actually met another friend through you, right? And you don't know what that person's going to add to your life and also what you can add to theirs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. There was I worked on this fashion show in LA randomly because, through making sure I text people on their birthday, someone's like, hey, I'm doing this fashion show and I know it's not like a film set, but would you be available? And it was just like putting flower arrangements like on a runway. It's like, oh, yeah, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And at lunch, the makeup artist, we were all having lunch, and the makeup artist was just saying, I don't even know why they might have just been talking about like what we're talking about, like relationship building. And he said, you know what? I have had a lot of models in my chair and they just start to talk and I don't repeat a thing. I just make it a safe space for them. I don't repeat anything.
Yeah.
And like that has really built a lot of trust for him in his career.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we were talking about, actually, like going around talking about how people like got started in the industry, because a lot of people didn't know each other on this particular job.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that that's really got him booked over and over again because people would know, like, if he's here doing my makeup and like, my son comes home late and I like yell at him, that he's not going to be like, oh, XYZ person was yelling at their kid. It's just like,
Right.
he just pays attention and just does his business.
Right.
And I really remembered that. And I'm like, that's such good advice. I wouldn't go around sharing anybody's business anyway.
Right.
But, it's just a good reminder in those spaces that he was, where you can just go out and tell everybody's business for like a TMZ opportunity to just not, period.
Right.
And he said that kind of trust has been really, really beneficial for his career because you do become friends. They will say, actually, can I book you and take you to Thailand?
Yep.
Because they know that you're not about to be, you're going to be there, do your job, you're going to have fun. And not that anybody's doing anything salacious, but you're just going to keep your mouth shut. It might be like a model who's like insecure about their body, like,
Right.
or something. He's not going to be like, dang, you know what? They had like a little stomach or something. Like, I don't know. I'm just making up stuff. It just is like keeps it quiet. So I feel like that was just such a good reminder just to like mind your business.
Ooh.
And my pivot is like,
yeah.
just minding your business, texting people on their birthdays, being thoughtful.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
That's yeah. And like you said, he was that safe space.
Yeah.
And because again, we're in an industry where it's like people are trying to one up each other, people trying to get somewhere, people trying to. I think that's also, again, a whole nother conversation coming from lack mentality and how that's bred into us. Like, well, if that person gets it, then there's no room for me. And I'm like, that's not true.
It's not true.
But yeah, that knowing, confidentiality in essence, right? Because like if you really think about it, a set or even a theater cast or what have you, where these group of artists are, there's a lot of things that happen. Yeah. There's a lot of things that the public doesn't know. And it's, confidentiality. Like, we're each other's therapists.
Yeah. And people want to know, that they, especially if they're like, we're like traveling, we're not at home, you don't have your usual circle. They just want to find like a friend in you.
Ooh, yes.
And they just want you to be a listening ear, not like a listening, scheming ear. Just listen and just be like, dang, that's messed up, and have their side, hype them up like, man, I know they didn't say that to you, like just be there.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
I understand. Yes. Stephanie, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Before I let you go, where can everybody find you out here? Actually, no, wait a minute. Hold on. I'm missing a very, very important thing. What would be like your nugget of wisdom or your word of advice for artists right now? Especially with the world figuratively and literally being on fire and just like a dumpster fire, would be, your nugget of wisdom.
I think I don't want to say to keep making, right? Because that feels really tough. But maybe I want to, encourage, your dear listener to write, like, morning page style, like do your 3 morning pages or 3 evening pages and try to, just play with like something, if you're just singing, to your camera, singing a song, if you want to take like a really cool selfie of yourself, and write about it, if you want to like film yourself cooking, for some reason, something that's just like, where it doesn't have to go anywhere. So that's what I mean, I think, when I was saying like make something, but I just like play around, and just like goof off and just imagine and just like write your 3 pages, because I feel like there really needs to be time right now to just be silly and to just have fun and to just not think that like, hey, what I'm making right now has to show up, on a theater stage, in a gallery, like on Instagram even. Like, it could just be for you, and even just collecting that, who knows where you'll end up with, what you'll end up with at the end of the year, just like these photos or, voice notes, journal pages of just foolishness, that you can laugh at,
Yeah. And it's just for you, right? Like, whatever that playfulness is. I like that. I'm gonna take your advice,
Yeah, just like maybe like while you're washing dishes, just like sing a song or just like, have an argument with yourself. Just be stupid about it.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for letting me talk to you.
Yes. Thank
You're
you
so
for talking
cool.
to me. Thank you. You're cool
Yeah.
too.
Thank you.
Yes. So now before I let you go, please
yes.
let everybody know where they can find you out here on the interwebs.
Yeah, so you can see my art at www.missgraham.com. My work is multidisciplinary with like photos, films, installations. And then I also have a podcast, Nosy AF, conversations about art, activism, and social change. And that is at nosyaf.com. And and I'm on Instagram at Stephanie Graham. And you could just hit me up there. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. All of that will go in the show notes, everybody, so you can
Thank you.
click on it and be connected with Stephanie. And I must say to you that I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
Oh, that is so nice. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Very welcome. Thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
And one more thing. Stephanie and I have some post-show banter, about 20 minutes where we just kept on talking, but we decided that's for Patreon's eyes and ears only. So yes, if you want to hear our post-show banter, head on over to the Patreon, link is in the bio, and you can hear us continue to talk. And coming up on the next episode of the Artist Pivot podcast, joining me is creative partner, author, and creative coach, Pia Lichter.
And I remember, at night hearing this little voice whispering like, hey, what would happen if you channeled your creativity into building your own damn thing? Poking me. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't even know what that would be. I don't even know what it would look like. I don't even know what I do. And so the fear would come up and I would just kind of not listen to the voice, leave it alone, kind of fall back into work.
Yeah.
And so there was a pivot. So that, to me, it felt like the pivot was calling.
This show is hosted and produced by me, Ayana Major Bay. Show editor is Kieran Niemant. Show theme song lyrics written by Ayana Major Bay and Melissa Victor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this show with your friends.